it's Linnea. Today I'm going to create a monochromatic one-layer card. Both of these things are completely out of my normal range for card making. Usually I love a lot of color and I love dimension. So I'm starting off with just a piece of white cardstock, and I have a mask. You can see this mask has been used for many projects before, but it's just Gina K Designs masking magic paper. And so this I can reuse and reuse over and over again. It's just probably maybe a 2-inch circle, and I added that to the center of my card. And then I added the Rain of Hearts stencil over the top, and this still has some pixie spray on the back left from my previous project. So it's tacked onto my card, and I'm going to use some Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink. I'll blend this on heavy at the top, and then kind of fade it out towards the bottom. So this is going to be a monochromatic card. My whole card is going to be in tones of gray. Once I have this stenciled onto my card, I remove the stencil and then I remove the mask, and you can see that clean white area in the center. Now I didn't get my mask quite centered, but that's okay. I'll just take this over to my paper trimmer and trim off a tiny sliver of the left-hand side, and you won't even really be able to know when I turn this into a card unless you hold it right next to a standard A2 sized card. I cut off such a small amount from the side that you can't tell this is slightly undersized. I added some stamps from the Track and Field Chapter 2 stamp set, the little polar bear polar vaulting, and then the sentiment right at the bottom of the circle. I'm going to color this in with some Copic markers very simply. I'm using a C0 marker to give my polar bear a white effect, and then I added just a little bit of the 0 colorless blender to fade that out into the center of the bear image. For the mat underneath, I'll be using N0 and N2, again, keeping this all in those tones of gray. N2 is for my shadow, so I'll go ahead and add that to the corner areas, and then I'll blend out with the N0, and then I'm going to come in one more time with the N2 just to darken up those areas a little tiny bit. The only aspect of a different color that I added to this card was I did use some RV11 for the cheeks of the bear. Once I had all of this done, I decided that I wanted to add a shadow underneath the mat because I kind of thought that this little guy looked like he was floating in the middle of the air. So I added some C0, and that just wasn't dark enough. So I ended up coming in with the N0 and N2 markers and just adding a bit of color to the side of the mat and then mostly below it. And I'll just kind of go back and forth flicking those markers until I get the shadow effect that I wanted. I debated adding some gems to this, but like I said, I was really trying to go with a monochromatic one-layer look. So I left off the gems, and the only extra touch of sparkle that I added was with a clear Spectrum Noir shimmer pen. I'll add that to the bear and to the mat, and that will finish this card. Thank you guys so much for joining me. See you soon. Bye.